This is what Sigma's calling the Bokeh Master, the 135mm f1.4 DG lens for the Sony E mount and L mount. And is it the Bokeh Master? Oh yeah, big time. Before we kick things off, big thanks to Sigma Singapore for loaning me the lens. With that said, these are my thoughts and my thoughts only. I don't get to keep the lens. It goes right back to Sigma after we're done. Now, I've had some time with this lens, and I even shot some images next to the 200mm f2, which I have with me as well here. And I did a video on that about a couple weeks ago, and this lens is absolutely phenomenal. I took it with me to the World Aquatics Championships, shot some sports over there, also did, some other shots as well with it. But I have to say, too bad you cannot put a teleconverter on this. Wish you could. That I feel is a missed opportunity, and maybe some sort of a drop-in ND filter in the back of it, because obviously the front element, it's a little bit too big at 105mm, but the image quality out of this lens is absolutely sublime. Now, we have the 135-1.4, the fastest 135mm lens, autofocusing lens, I believe, on the market currently right now for mirrorless systems. And as I mentioned, for the E mount and for the L mount, so Sony users, and of course, like a Panasonic Sigma users, you are going to be in heaven with this lens. It is beautiful, and it is actually not that big considering. This is a lot smaller than I thought it was going to be. It's here mounted onto the BF, you can see right there, and I've got this tilted grip, which I highly recommend. If you want to mount it to a BF, get a grip like this, because coming around 1,430 grams, it's not a light lens, but considering that it's a 135-1.4, it's actually not that bad, and it feels really good on the hand. Now, primarily most of the shots that you see in this video are going to be taken here with the Lumix S1 II and the S1R2, because this is much more of a conventional body, and it feels much better with a body like this, and obviously the SL3 as well if you're a Leica user, or SL3S. But I have to say, the thing that stood out to me about this lens, not only is it, compact, obviously when you put the hood onto it, it does make it a bit bigger, but without the hood, it's quite compact. You can also remove the tripod ring as well, which I've already done here. Now, I don't know if there's going to be some sort of rubber ring that covers these rivets when you take it off. I don't know, because I didn't get the retail box for this review, but I know previously Sigma did put some sort of ring there to just give it more of an aesthetic look to it. I'll find out, or you'll probably know at the time of this release. But regardless, still looks pretty good, I have to say. Very handsome looking lens. 105mm filter thread on the front of this, like the 200mm f2. But what impressed me about this lens, more so than anything, is that it's a very fast autofocusing. It's extremely fast. Now, again, it's going to be dependent on the camera that you're using. I would say for the Sigma BF, it's fast. For the S1 II, S1R2, it's also fast. For the SL3, might be a little bit slower. We're waiting for Leica to get that algorithm up, or maybe get a firmware update to speed up that autofocusing a bit more. But if you have an SL3S, no issues at all. You're going to really enjoy the autofocusing speed out of this. And that's something that I really appreciated with it, because I took it with me to the fish market the other night. I mean, indoors, various different lighting out there. People are moving around. They're rushing. They're trying to get the fish ready for the next day's sales. They're selling stuff there as well. And so people are bustling and moving. And I was worried that this was going to be a little bit slow to acquire focus. And, at times at the initial stage of acquiring focus, it could take like a fraction of a second. Then after that, it locks on. That only happens once in a while, but that with any longer focal length lens, you may see that come into play. But once you're in that vicinity, man, it just snaps and locks on focus. It's absolutely fantastic. Now you have 13 rounded aperture blades inside of this lens. It's going to give you a gorgeous bokeh. We'll talk more about that in just a bit. You have 17 elements in 13 groups, and you also have 2 spherical elements inside of this. So you're getting a very well-corrected lens. Also those FLD elements and everything inside of it as well. So it's going to be very well corrected. I mean, they stepped it up a lot, I feel, over the past year plus. And this, along with the 200 f2, the 35 1.2, are just prime examples of Sigma really redefining what they are doing when it comes to optics. And this is a testament to that. This is going to be the holy grail of portrait lenses for a lot of people out there. The normal focusing distance on this is 110 cm. So keep that in mind. You still can get pretty close up with this, which is nice. And I did feel like comparing these side by side from the 135 and the 200, obviously the 200 is not going to be as versatile as the 135. Granted, I understand that. The 135 for me, where I was at in this fish market, was much easier to shoot and capture. And I actually like this focal length a lot. For me personally, I'm a 50, 75, 85, 105, 135. I like that sweet spot. I like that compression. I like sort of capturing the environment, but also finding the subject I want and isolating that subject if I need to. That's just the kind of photography that I like. Again, everybody will be different. And I think this lens really does a fantastic job in that way. I mean, it's beautiful. And when we get into the image quality here, I think this is what makes this lens very, very special. The micro contrast, very similar to the 35-1.2 and also the 200 f2 is there. It's brilliant. It does remind me a lot of the Leica Oppo lenses. Again, I don't know if this is an Oppo lens or not. Sigma doesn't state it on any of the documents that I have here, and they don't really label it on any of the lenses. Back in the day, they did. Now they don't. But I do feel that there is a lot of those Oppo qualities inside of this. And I feel like this is going to be a reference lens for a lot of portraiture photographers out there, even lifestyle photographers that want isolation. You really want beautiful bokeh, beautiful isolation, very sharp at wide open at 1.4. This lens delivers that in spades. Now, let's talk a little bit about the bokeh on this, because this is where I recently shot with the Nikkor Plana once again. And that's a great lens, 135, 1.8. And the Plana's got a very interesting characteristic, and you have another video, you can check that out if you want, is that the bokeh balls are extremely circular, very well corrected. The Plana has that. This lens does at times, and at other times it can be a little bit cat's eye-ish. It's still very clean bokeh, I guess because you're faster than 1.8. You know, obviously when you stop down, you get much, more circular bokeh. When you get down to 1.4, 1.2, you're gonna see a little bit of that cat's eye come into play, but what I love about it is the fall off. The fall off from the subject to the background is beautiful. I've shot some video clips as well when I was at the fish market here. I mean, people would probably take this to a portrait studio and shoot that way, or outdoor portraits, but I wanted to take it more into environmental photography and really kind of change it up a little bit, just kind of show it in a very different atmosphere that you normally would take this lens. And I was just pleasantly surprised at how beautiful it was. Then I also took some shots at this Hungry Ghost Festival, this little temple, but that was a little bit too tight for me with this lens. I could only get some isolated shots. Primarily the 35 1.2 was the lens I used there. If you are in the L mount, or Sony E mount for that matter, and Sony's 135 1.8 is a great lens, but it's been out for a number of years. They haven't updated it yet. This would be a very nice alternative for a lot of you out there that want something a little bit faster, gather more light coming in, and get a really nice distinct bokeh. I think you're gonna like what this lens has to offer. And for the L mount Alliance users out there, Panasonic, Leica, Sigma, I mean, this is it, baby. This is your bokeh master. It's absolutely fantastic. Compared to the Plana, I mean, I didn't have them side by side. I couldn't shoot the same exact subject, but I would say they're very, very close to each other in a lot of ways. But let's talk about comparing it to the 200 f2 image quality wise, because this is what I did find interesting. And I wasn't able to capture the same exact subject right after one another because of where I was at. It's a little bit hard and people are moving around. I would say that I felt that this 135 has a much more gentle look, if I can put it that way. And what I mean by gentle is just kind of the fall off. It just sort of graduates. It just kind of, falls off and it just disappears in the background. Whereas the 200 f2 has much more of it has a great fall off as well, but it's much more distinct. It's a bit more, I wouldn't say a bit more harder, a little bit more precise, but obviously that kind of compression, the focal range and that compression, it may be a bit more so, especially at f2. But this 135 1.4 is very, very special the way that it renders. And it just became one of my favorite lenses, I feel personally, that I've used out of Sigma in this focal range in a long time. And the 85 is great, but it's probably due for an update. And I've tried other 135s out there from Canon, from Nikon, especially as I mentioned, and they're all really fantastic. But this Sigma just has something a little bit extra special. Yeah, it's a bit faster on the aperture, but something else to it. Maybe it's the micro contrast, maybe it's the color, maybe it's just the way that it's designed and how it just renders the subject. But man, it is really absolutely phenomenal. So that's kind of it, guys. I mean, it's short, sweet, to the point. What else can you say? This is the bokeh monster. And this is going to be a lens that a lot of you out there that like this kind of focal range, once you try this and get into your hands, first you're going to realize how compact it is. I don't know if I can show it exactly on video to kind of give you an idea of how compact this lens is, but just how versatile it is and how fast the autofocusing is. That's what really made this special to me. And yeah, I would say definitely take a second look at this. On a BF, I mean, you need a grip. The tilted grip is good. I got the JJC grip as well, which is also nice. you would definitely need a grip for this. But even like this, walking around, this feels really, really good. But I would say having an EVF, getting close with that just to sort of make sure that you've got that subject, that eye in focus, man, this will produce some beautiful work for you. Anyway, guys, that's it. Those are my thoughts on the 135 1.4. Let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. Any questions you have, I'll try to answer them for you like always. Like, subscribe. Thank you so much for the support, and I'll chat to you all very, very soon.